Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is the author, Andrew Snorton, and you're tuned in to the Fast 15. We normally do this each and every Wednesday about 1:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. However, I've got a commitment around that time, so we're just doing our live chat a little bit earlier. And likewise, I'm usually simultaneously doing this on Facebook, but I'll probably end up, I don't know, I might do two versions. But first off, hey, Siku 8538, thanks a lot for joining. So in order to stay connected with me, make sure to tune in here on Instagram at AuthorASnorton. Make sure to add me on Instagram. Add me on YouTube and Twitter at AuthorASnorton. On Facebook, you can add me at Author Andrew Snorton. And if you have any, questions, speaking requests, interview requests, things along those lines, personalized copies of the book, make sure to go ahead and connect with me via email at AuthorASnorton@gmail.com. As we normally do with each and every quick 15-minute chat or so, we always start off by taking time to acknowledge people that might not be doing so well. We know that there's a number of things going on. Obviously, the pandemic is still going on, so please be safe and sound, and utilizing best practices, as fully as possible with your masks, your hand sanitizer. The vaccine is an option. If you choose not to take the vaccine, please amp up your other preventative steps in order to make sure you're not having to deal with that. We know people are dealing with, other things, health-wise, money-wise, relationship-wise, things along those lines. So we just want to send a word of encouragement out to people. It is understandable that you feel some kind of way, but even more understandable is take the time you need to kind of pause, reboot. If what you're going through requires professional help, do not be afraid to get professional help. If what you needs you to kind of change your exercise routine or your diet or the people that you're around, things along those lines, take inventory. We don't want you to be stuck there. We want you to grow, flourish, be the best person you can be, the best professional, the best person in your community, your family. So take the time you need to go ahead and see what adjustments you need to make and go ahead and make them. For those who are doing exceedingly well, whether it's a new job, a new venture, you got out of bed today, any of those types of things, definitely take a moment to pause and reflect and celebrate. You don't have to go overboard, but for lack of a better term, you know what you've been led through in order to get to where you are. So take a moment to pause, acknowledge the people that helped you. If it's something faith-based, definitely acknowledge your faith. And let's not forget people who aren't doing as well, because that might have been us once upon a time. So those are just some things we always try to do at the very beginning. Now we're going to go ahead and pivot into our talk. And we're going to pull from a segment from one of the chapters of 9 Stories of Faith, Volume 1, available on Barnes & Noble online, Amazon online, and available at different bookstores throughout like the Southeast and South Central. And a chapter that I want to pull from is going to be Chapter 5, which is Floyd Mayweather versus Jerry Cooney. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that. And I'll pull a couple of segments from this. Now, this chapter, Floyd Mayweather versus Jerry Cooney, takes a look at the impact of living with a mental health issue. We know that mental health, it is a significant issue. There are a number of people living with it. There are a number of people that are struggling with it. There are a number of people that haven't been properly diagnosed. But we want to make sure that people understand that once you have a grasp as to what is happening, now you're in a better position to say this is something I live with versus something I have, because if you have it, it can take ownership over you. But if you live with it, then you understand this is a part of what you deal with, and you're able to have the perspective and provision to put things in place just to help you keep it moving. So there's a couple of things that I want to share with you that will probably and hopefully help some people. So one of the first quotes I want to use is, "At times, I sometimes struggle with who I am. I live with understanding what belongs to me and what belongs to my illness." And that, to me, is a very important statement, because all of us at different points in time are going to struggle. Does it always mean it's a mental health issue? Not exactly. As we said earlier, could it be finance? Could it be relationship? Could it be just self-doubt or whatever, all of us are going to struggle with something at some point in time. And there's some things we take ownership of and some things we have to let go. And this is where he acknowledges some things are in my lane, some things are in a different lane. Hey, Aylin, first class, good to see you, fam. How you doing? So just think about that when you're going through a challenge. It doesn't have to be a mental health challenge. It could be any challenge. There's some things that you know belong to you, and some things, like they tell you, you can't bring everything with you. So there's some things you've got to let go of. Here's another quote from this chapter that I think is going to definitely help. And I'm going to read this. I want people to know if you get knocked down 7 times, get up 8. I hope people understand that endurance and perseverance are more than just actions, and that staying alive and doing something positive with this life is indeed worth it. Our lives aren't just measured by what you do, as others may determine the positives and negatives. Be mindful of what others are living with. Staying alive is noteworthy, and we have to do something in and with this life. Don't forget to be mindful of what others are living with and going through. That is a mouthful, and that is so important. All of us are going to get knocked down, get sidetracked, have our feelings hurt. Sometimes the plans that we have out might crash, crumble, and burn. I mean, that happens. I can speak to a number of things personally, professionally, that hadn't quite worked according to plan. That's just the reality of the situation. But you take the time you need to pause and reboot and get back up. You take the time to pause and reboot and see what you learn from it, and then you keep moving forward. You don't want to be stuck there. And another thing is, staying alive and doing something positive is worth it. You matter. Seriously, somebody out there might be struggling as to whether or not they want to live, today. Seriously, you matter. You're important. Don't let the negative voices dictate what you do and don't do. You matter, you're important, you're worth it, and you have something to bring to the table. So make sure that you're doing that. And again, another thing, don't let other people dictate whether or not you're successful or not. You getting out of bed might be the biggest success that you have all day. You overcoming that fear of speaking in public, or overcoming that fear of, let me get started on this. That's a positive. So feed off the positives that you can. And let's be mindful of what others are living with and going through. That's why at the beginning of each of these chats, I always make sure to take time to acknowledge, some people are going through some struggle. Some people are going through success. So I want to take time each and every time we do these to acknowledge people. Hey, definitely right back at you, fam. So those are some takeaways that I hope that people are able to think about from Chapter 5. Floyd Mayweather versus Jerry Cooney. And this is Chapter 5 of the book, 9 Stories of Faith, Volume 1. So definitely thank you on that. A couple of quick things as we do this shortened version today. Number one, shouts to Nisi Starr for a great interview, extended conversation. Make sure to add Nisi Starr, and I'll make sure to share it. If you're following me on Instagram, check out the Instagram stories. My Instagram stories on AuthorASnorton. And if you follow me on Facebook, on Author Andrew Snorton, I've included the link. It was a great talk, covered a whole lot of stuff, so we definitely chopped it up. So I want to say thank you to her for that opportunity. Later today, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central Time, make sure to tune into my full broadcast, The Conversation Corner, as we cover different topics across entertainment, business, community, more. I have fellow author Willie Cartwright talking about his book, which will probably stir up definitely some conversation, from Saved to Sane, as it's a critique of the impact of Christianity and how it might not always have been the best thing for the African American community. So that will be an interesting conversation. And we have Ashley Triplett talking about the different projects she's got going on under Mad 2K management with Be Financially Fit, and then the women's series that she does, the Women's Business and Entrepreneurship Pageant, which did its first event earlier this summer, and doing different events. So definitely make sure to check that out. For those of you in Metro Atlanta, check me out this coming Saturday, August 14th, from 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Exchange Park. The event, hosted by the Georgia Spartans semi-pro basketball team, is DeKalb Art in the Park. There'll be live performances, different creatives and whatever, I'll have a table. So definitely make sure to stop by the table, get a copy, obviously, of 9 Stories of Faith. Get a copy of the other 2 books that I've done, Deeper Than Your Deepest Sleep, Thoughts on Love with Joseph Snorton, as well as Nothing Minor, which is my chronicle of covering minor league baseball. So make sure to check me out this Saturday. We just found out earlier today that the Mississippi Book Festival is not going to take place. They're going to do more of a virtual series, only because there's been an uptick in COVID cases in the state of Mississippi, and they just don't have the infrastructure to handle it. And since a number of people were kind of saying, hey, with this uptick, we might want to go a different direction. So the Mississippi Book Festival this year is not going to take place as originally planned. What they're going to do is they're going to do virtual series with different authors that they'll feature. Hopefully I'll be one of them. We'll see. But they'll come back in 2022. So we thank the awesome people there. Another thing I want to announce, birthday month. So the birthday is coming up at the end of the month. If you'd like to submit a quick 30, 45-second video chat, say, hey, happy birthday to the author, best wishes to come, inbox it to me here at AuthorASnorton on Instagram, and you may email me at AuthorASnorton@gmail.com. I'll post a few of those as it gets closer to the big day, and for my August 25th full broadcast of the Conversation Corner, we'll throw a few of those out there. So make sure to give me a shout as I'll turn the page. As a contest, whoever can guess the correct year, what year I'm going to turn at the end of the month, I will send you a personalized thank you. So let's go ahead and make that happen. Try to get those in by like the 17th, 18th, so I can get everything compiled and drop everything that last week of August. Trying to see if there's anything else. August 28th, please mark your calendars. I'll drop the next edition of the Author's Mixtape, Volume 5. So that is the poetry, spoken word, music series that we're getting ready to put the finishing touches on. That will drop on all major platforms: Tidal, Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, Apple Music, Shazam, Deezer. So make sure to add, make sure if you hadn't gotten any of the other editions, make sure to go ahead and just type in Andrew Snorton or type in the Author's Mixtape. Go ahead and cop the other volumes. Some great freestyle poetry, spoken word, live music. Definitely check out Volume 4 of Chris 10, as that was just a great combination. We'll see what we're going to come up with as we have the finishing touches on that, but August 28th. And those are some of the main things that we wanted to chop it up with, you guys. So again, we usually do this at a little bit after 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we've got a schedule conflict, so we're doing this right now. We'll probably end up figuring out how to do what we're going to do for the Facebook audience. But I just want to say to everybody on Instagram, thank you so much for following me, sharing my work. For those of you that have made purchases, thank you for the purchases. For those of you who download the audiobook series, thank you so much. Again, thank you for sharing everything. Shouts again, like I said, go in my Instagram stories. Check out yesterday's extended talk with Nisi Starr. And I hope these little 10 to 15-minute pauses or breaks really do help. I know it does. And, I like doing this. It helps me to kind of recenter and refocus. I hope it's helping you as well. And like I'll tell anybody, just stay grounded, stay humble, and stay hungry. So stay grounded just means to keep your perspective. Stay humble, meaning don't let success, go to your head, or failure go to your heart. And stay hungry, because as much as you've accomplished, there's still more in you, and there's more stuff for you to do. And I'll close that on this: whether slow or swift, movement is movement. So don't knock the pace that you're moving. Just keep moving. And whether small or big, a victory is a victory, because you know what you've been led through in order to work through to get to where you are. So I hope you guys enjoyed this edition. Be safe out there. Until next time, seriously, take very good care. I'll look forward to chopping up with you. Tune in tonight for tonight's show, and we're going to do this again. So y'all have a good rest of the day. Have a good week, and I look forward to seeing you real soon. All right, take care.